If you are wishing to know more about fishing, you don't need a book, just come and see the hook and the cook. If you are looking to know more about cooking, you know where to look, just come and see the hook and the cook. Scotty will hook 'em, and Paul he will cook 'em.
They like to travel and learn new stuff.
Come and see the hook and the cook.
We've travelled up to Coffs Harbour today, on the hunt for some bigger fish. Approximately halfway between Sydney and Brisbane, this is where the Great Dividing Range meets the Pacific Ocean, leaving a pocket of paradise lodged between the mountains and the sea.
Most people know Coffs Harbour as the home of the Big Banana, a landmark on the highway celebrating the region's best-known export. However, as the heart of the Coffs Coast, there is so much more natural beauty to be experienced, and it provides a great home base for a diverse range of fishing adventures.
Big bananas, big jetties, big boats and even bigger views. Coffs Harbour is world class, and with any luck we'll catch some big fish for Paul to cook one very large meal.
We're up early this morning and heading down to the marina to meet up with Terry and Miko on board Shimano's Trident. Brendan and Fudge from the restaurant are also tagging along, and despite the early hour, are excited for their first deep sea fishing trip.
Coffs has really turned on the weather for us today. It's calm, warm and looking like we're going to have the best possible conditions for fishing open water. It just doesn't get any better than this. So Miko, we're down south of Coffs Harbour today?
Yeah, a bit south of Coffs. Put the pick in and put a bit of a burley trail out, try and catch a red.
Beautiful day, mate.
That's a cracker.
What else were a chance of catching down here?
Oh, pearlies, mowies, trags.
Okay.
Yeah. Early enough for a trag, so it'd be good to get a bait in.
All right, and we've anchored on a bit of harder ground, have we?
A bit of harder ground with gravel around it.
So hard ground back out onto the gravel.
Onto
Fishing
gravel.
floaters out onto the gravel.
Exactly right.
What about bottom baits?
Yep, we'll put a couple of paternoster rigs down in the corners and floaters out the back.
Scotty, what's the trick with this?
Well, using a bait runner.
Yeah.
The good feature with these is that you can preset your drag at the front.
Yeah.
Okay, which you've got there, so you've preset that, so you don't need to adjust it.
Okay, yeah.
Throw your bait runner back.
Yeah.
You're in free spool.
Yeah,
You can just
keep that
continually
going.
feeding line out. And what we're doing here is we're anchored up on the hard reef behind us.
Yeah.
Fishing out onto the gravel.
Yeah.
And hopefully the better fish are out on the gravel.
So we're letting a lot of line out, but
Just continually keep feeding.
Okay.
The burley's going out, the burley never stops. You want your bait to just continually float with it.
What happens when a fish hits it?
What's going to happen, hopefully, that's going to spin like crazy.
Yeah.
Don't strike because you're in free spool.
Right.
Wind the handle first, so just go through that now. Give it a wind. You'll see that fire back.
Oh,
Boom. So you're back on your set drag.
Yeah.
And after that'll hook the fish.
Yeah. Do I jerk the rod or anything?
And then
or
just come up to a nice lift.
come up?
You
Okay.
can just take your time. And hopefully the burley will attract something reasonable. A nice snapper, hopefully. Today.
Yeah. They're the
Maybe
red.
a pearl perch.
They're the red ones, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, the red ones. Yeah,
With the bumps on the head.
They're the red ones with the bumps on the head.
I know those. Yeah, I send those in the markets.
Well, it hasn't taken long and Paul's hooked up the first fish of the day.
Come on now. How good is this? I never caught a decent red and I still haven't yet. Tell you what, you don't want to come in. Yeah, you snap.
Paul's definitely hooked up on a nice sized red. Snapper are bottom dwellers and tend to feed over rough reef and across gravel beds. They respond extremely well to burley, and when hooked, they run hard and deep, providing a tough fight. With a characteristic double shake of the head before each run, you'll know when you've hooked a snapper.
Oh, look at that. Hook's got one with a lump on its head.
Woohoo!
Mate, that's a personal best. It's my personal best, about as big as his tail. How good is that?
Firmly there.
Yeah. That's my first ever snapper that's been legal. All the rest of it, I had to chuck them back 29 centimetres. And look at that beauty. Only been here about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes and I'm into one. That's beautiful.
After the break, the fun continues. We're fishing for snapper today. We're just anchored south of Coffs Harbour, and Miko's brought the Triton round and found a little bit of hard ground. We're fishing out on some gravel behind us. We've got a great burley trail going of chopped pilchards. We're using 3 methods. My favourite is the floating rig, and we vary the weight depending on how much current's there. The other method you can use is the whole pilly on a gang, 5 O's, gang together, and that works really well. Again, float that down the burley trail, or the good old paternoster rig. If you're not doing any good on the floating baits, drop a bait to the bottom and you might do well. So let's get out there and give it a shot and see how we go. Well, it's been a little bit slow to start. Paul got a nice fish in the boat and just hooked a good fish a long way back. So maybe they're starting to move up that burley trail. Sometimes it pays to wait. If the fish don't come on straight away, be patient and let the burley do its work. Nice little pan-sized red. Better than the last one. It's taken a little while. We've had the burley going for a good half an hour now. And we think we might be just starting to get a few fish working their way up. And I've just hooked a good fish. I cast out a long way behind the boat, just hoping to see if they're sitting a little wider. And it's brought the results.
But beautiful, look at that. Beauty. Oh, the hook's on.
Well, it looks like the floaters are starting to work. I've downed my sinker size. We were fishing a little heavier, and I put a small lead on and a nice tail bait of a pilchard, and it's brought the results. A beautiful red from Coffs Harbour.
After catching a beautiful snapper, things have gone a bit quiet. Aside from a couple of red rock cod, Scott has been the only one to catch anything. So now is probably a good time to prepare some lunch. What I've decided, I did bring some little ingredients with me. I'm going to make up some sushi. Now, we prepared the rice earlier. Take 2 cups of sushi rice and wash it 3 times through until the water becomes clear. Transfer the rinsed rice into a saucepan with 3 cups of water, give it a stir and let the rice sit. After the rice is soaked for around about 30 minutes, we turn on the heat and bring it to the boil. Then we put the lid on, turn the heat down lower and leave the rice to cook for 15 to 20 minutes. Once the rice is cooked and you see the steam coming through the holes, transfer the rice to a flat surface and add plenty of sushi seasoning. Stir the seasoning through and fan the rice, cooling it down to room temperature. Now, first thing we're going to use is our nori roll. Basically all it is just dried seaweed that's toasted. I'm going to put the sunny side down first. Then spread your sushi rice evenly on the nori roll, leaving a small gap around the edges. Now I'm ready to add my ingredients. Firstly, I'm going to add a thin strip of wasabi down the middle. Then a layer of thinly sliced avocado, red capsicum, some fresh crisp cucumber, and strips of smoked salmon. Okay, so as you can see, I've just made a square, a little bit smaller than the actual nori roll itself. That just helps when I'm rolling it, that we can actually get that nice round roll with the rice. So just hold the food here, come through, and bring it all the way to the end. Okay, and press nice and firm. And there we have it. I'm going to pop it in the fridge, and the moisture just helps soften the nori roll. I think we're on at the back there. There's somebody onto a fish. Oh, you're on it, don't you, brother?
Hey, get back to the kitchen. Not much happening out here. Another nice Coffs red.
Scotty just hooked up his third snapper of the day, but based on size alone, I'm still one up on him. So I'm going back to finishing the sushi rolls. Once done, I wrap them in cling film and place them in the fridge for later.
Coming up after the break, we finally get onto some bigger fish. After a long morning and not much action, Fudge is onto his first decent fish for the day.
He's a good fish.
Woohoo! Good on you, Fudgy!
Yep, there you go. Pearl.
Oh, nice one, Fudgy.
Wow, there's your pearly.
Oh, it's a beauty.
The colours of this, boys. What a ripper.
Pearl Perch are a fun fish to catch and provide a tough fight. They can be found offshore in deep water over reef and gravel, from northern New South Wales up to southern Queensland.
Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful looking fish. Look at the purple in the head.
Yeah. Nice one, Fudge. Beautiful, mate.
Right. I've never tried one of these. I'd be interested to see how these eat.
They are number one off the coast.
Beautiful. He put up a good little fight.
Yeah.
Well, first fish of the day for me. Unreal.
Sorry, Mika. Your rod went off. It was your rod, Mika. Woo!
Well, looks like you got a good one this time, Paul.
Not yet, mate. It's not in the boat yet, big fella.
How was the run on that fish?
Oh. He's coming up now. I think he might have had enough.
I might get out of the way.
Landlord's fish, they call him.
There he is. He's a good fish, mate. Wow. Oh, that's a personal best, mate. Is it alright if I let this one go?
You can do whatever you like, mate. You caught him.
Okay, cool.
As Terry said, we encourage that, mate.
Mate, it's
With
just
a bigger fish,
just such a beautiful fish.
at the spawning time.
Yeah. There we go, guys. That's absolutely amazing. Try and keep my fingers out their gills there. I want to put this fish back because it's just a beautiful creature, and I've never caught anything like that before. Get some pictures of it, that'll do me. Just incredible, isn't it? Okay, let's get him back in. There you go, mate. He's lively, look at that. Fantastic.
So, Miko, we're doing all right. It took a little bit to get them going.
It did, mate. Bit of burley working and a change in spots helped, I think.
Yeah.
Back up onto the harder reef, and the burley's going back over more gravel. So, yeah, we've chipped away, caught a few.
So we've got a few nice reds for our cook
For a
up
feeder.
tonight,
Yeah, I'm
for the cook to whip us up a wonderful feed.
Certainly looking forward to that. You can not only hook them, you can cook them.
Yeah. I tell you what, we've had a fantastic morning so far. We're on the deeper reefs now. We're going to work some soft plastics. We're using the 140 or the 165 flick baits, 140 wrigglers, the new 160 wriggler. We're using 11 and 14 gram jig heads, and of course the secret ingredient to make the reddies bite, a bit of S factor. It's a scent that attracts fish. I'll just wipe along the side of the body like so. And get that lure back out there. What are you doing today?
I don't know, I just can't
one, he bit the tail off my plastic. But that's all right.
So Miko, tell me, how are you working the plastics?
With that one in this deeper water, it's a matter of getting in touch with either bait or the bottom. So there hasn't been a whole lot of bait showing, so I put it down near the bottom, and frankly, it just took off.
I notice here too we're getting a few Sergeant Baker and a few red Rockies.
Well, that's sort of bycatch of this style of fishing. They're predators. They're going to eat this sort of soft plastic. Anything that's moving down there. This particular one bit the tail off it.
Yeah, look at that. And destroyed the plastic. So we'll put a fresh one on there and get you back in the water. Mate, what a fantastic red.
After some great fishing, the boys are getting a little hungry. So I grabbed some sushi rolls I prepared earlier and cut them up ready to plate. Here we go, boys, some nice sushi rolls for you. Oh, look at that. Get into it, boys, get into it.
Beautiful.
Dig in, boys.
You blokes are animals, look here.
We've had an incredible morning on the Triton, with perfect conditions, great company, and fantastic fishing. We could keep going all day, but Paul and Brendan have to get back to Coffs and make a start on dinner. Coming up next, find out what Paul and Brendan cook up for our guests.
After an amazing day on the water, we have made our way inland to Miko's farm. To say thanks for taking us out on the boat, Brendan and myself are going to cook up all the fish we caught for the boys and their families. It was a bit of a challenge, but we've come up with a Coffs Harbour inspired dish that they are sure to love. Tandoori reef fish with banana and avocado relish on a bed of snow peas and fondant saffron potatoes. Okay, Brendan, what I need you to do is basically start scoring the fish for me.
Definitely.
While Brendan scores the fish, I need to make a start on the tandoori paste. Firstly, I need to dry roast the spices. I put some sweet paprika, chili flakes, coriander seeds, turmeric powder, fenugreek seeds, and some freshly grated nutmeg in the pan and heat it up for a couple of minutes to release the flavours. Now we don't want to dry roast this for too long because what will happen, it will burn and we'll get a bit of flavour. What we really need is just to open up the aromatics in the spices so we get a really lovely fragrant smell coming off there, and that's when we're going to pound that in the pestle and mortar. Once the spices are ready, I spoon them into the mortar and add some finely chopped ginger and garlic. Then I throw in a little bit of salt and pound everything together. I put in some tomato paste and stir. Now that's the base of my tandoori paste. What we need to do is mellow that out a little bit, and what we're going to do is put some sour cream in there and some yogurt, so let's get cracking. I then transfer the mixture into a large bowl, add my sour cream and natural and sweetened yogurt. Now then, what we have to do now is marinate our fish. And what Brendan's done is actually cut a few slits in there so we can get a little bit of this marinade into the meat. I'm going to marinate this for half an hour only, that's it. In she goes. Now I'm going to use my tongs because there's turmeric in here and it tends to stain your hands and stays on there for ages. So I finished marinating the fish and put them in the esky for half an hour.
While Paul's focusing on the marinade, I prepare the fondant potatoes. Earlier on, we made a fish stock to cook our potatoes in. We boiled up the snapper heads in a large pot with some garlic, onions, celery and a good squeeze of lemon juice. After about 30 minutes, we then strain the stock. Now, I grab some Desiree potatoes, peel them and push a round cutter through the whole potato to get a circular shape. Cut off the ends for a nice clean finish. He's got a spud.
I just hope they don't get a grip of that chilli or we're going to have an unhappy chicken.
Now we place the potatoes in a pan and pour in the fish stock, just enough to cover them. Then I add some saffron and some salt and let them simmer.
So what we're doing at the moment is we're actually top and tailing our snow peas. Really, really important that we get rid of this strand from here, otherwise it gets in your teeth. So as we peel it down, you can see the strand coming off. What are you on next, Brendan?
Onto the avocado banana relish. For the relish, we need bananas, a little bit of chili, some eschalots, and avocado, all finely diced. I toss them all together in a bowl with a squeeze of lime juice, lemon juice, and some shredded coriander and mint. Lightly toss them all together.
How are the saffron potatoes going? They're just...
Well, the stock's reduced around them quite, rapidly. So what I'll do, once it's reduced down, I'll add some butter, Monty au beurre.
What he means by that is just going to add a little bit of butter in there, and what that does is gives it a nice finish and shine. Okay, now, let's get our fish out. In goes the oil. Now we should probably get about 3 to 4 fillets in here. I'm going to put put my fish in skin side down. What that does, it protects the flesh of the fish. And I cook it 3/4 of the time with the skin down. Now they will rise up, so I'm just going to gently push down till the actual flesh relaxes. If it does start to catch a little bit, then just turn the heat down and just relax. We're going to flick it over for around about 2 minutes, and then we're just going to turn the heat off, and the residual heat in the pan will carry on cooking the fish.
All right, so as we can see here, the fish stock and the saffron is reduced down nicely. There's the tiniest little bit of liquid in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw the butter in now and get those potatoes just real ready to go.
As you can see, we're just flipping our tandoori over. Lovely colour, lovely caramelisation. That's what we're looking for. And again, beautiful. Okay, and now I'm going to turn the pan down. It's important we turn it down now. It gently cooks the protein.
So I'm just going to taste some of this liquid. So that butter's just come through, and what happens, it enhances all the flavour. You know, people are worried about health and all that, but butter is definitely flavour. You know, once every now and then, in moderation, it's great.
While Brendan is finishing off the potatoes, I place the snow peas into some salted boiling water for about 40 seconds. Strain off the water and add some butter and cracked pepper. Now we're ready for plating.
Before we do, cheers. What a great day, and not a bad result. Not a bad result.
Not too bad. Good. I hope you enjoyed.
Well, we've had an incredible weekend in Coffs, and I really enjoyed that tandoori. If you'd like the recipe or to find out more about the show, go to thehookandthecook.com. Fishing for snapper, south of Coffs. Miko's... Brendan got a wonderful. Brendan even got himself a nice shark.
Tastes like my wife. but sweeter.
How good was that? We fished out on the shell. Small shark. Nice shark. No nice sharks, is there?